Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about the oarfish. You may have seen one of these big fish just washed up in the shoreline, hit the news just recently. Well, what is the oarfish? It's just like a very long flatfish, and it's a name that's used for fish that belong to a certain family classification of fish called the REGALECIDAE. In the whole world there are actually 4 different species of oarfish. And the one that we just saw is the giant oarfish, which is the longest bony fish in the world today. And they can get as long as about 17 meters, which is huge. It's about 56 feet, absolutely enormous. Whereabouts do they live? Well, they live in a part of the ocean called the pelagic zone, and that's not on the surface, or it's not at the shoreline, and it's not at the very bottom, but it's kind of in between. So you'd call it the deep ocean or deep water. But whereabouts in the world are they? Well, they're pretty much spread all over the place, but you can really only find them in temperate and tropical oceans, so not very far north where it's very cold, or not very far south where it's very cold, but pretty much everywhere in between, down as far as Australia, below there, down to Argentina, as far north, Spain, Indonesia, New York, quite far north as well. But they're really, really rare, and they're very hard to find because there aren't really that many of them around. And that's why you don't really see them showing up out at sea or being caught by fishermen that much. And really the only time you're going to see them is when they wash up dead on the shoreline, like the one that hit the news recently. Normally they do live in the deeper water, but if they get very sick or if they're dying, they'll head up to the surface. And that's why they were probably spotted in the past when ships were out to sea and they saw them going past, and it gave rise to this legend of what are called giant sea serpents that some sailors reported, and that you see sometimes depicted as attacking boats. Because you can imagine this giant head of an enormous fish suddenly appearing out of nowhere, but they never would have attacked the boats, obviously. So you say to yourself, well, why are they called oarfish? Well, one idea is that their bodies are shaped like oars, so they were maybe just given that name. And another idea is that the way that they move their fins to move looks a wee bit like the way that people move oars when they're trying to move a boat. But we've shown scientifically since then that in fact their fins do not really move like that at all. So that's today's lesson on the oarfish. Watch out for more of them in the news. And you see these pictures popping up everywhere. There was one in the news just a couple of days ago where it washed up in the shoreline, and you'll see about 20 people holding it on the shoreline. Similar ones showed up in the past. And here's one here, which is from US servicemen, and this one showed up on the Pacific over on the west coast of the United States. See you next time. Cheerio. Bye-bye.